explore the harmony of body and mind with our online yoga course. Become more resilient, focused and tranquil. The path to a balanced life begins with a simple click on the link below. Now, the essence of all this is, first thing is to understand the nature of how existence is happening. Either you can look at this, or you can look at the atom, or you can look at the universe. If you want to look at the universe, it is complex, it is difficult because you don't have a gallery seat, you know. There is no… it is not like a stadium, you can sit somewhere and watch the whole universe. Very difficult, you can only see it in pieces. If you want to watch an atom, nobody has seen an atom, do you know this? Do you know this? Even in a super electron microscope, you can't see an atom. We have observed its activity, but we have never seen an atom as such. But we have broken it. We are capable of breaking things that even we cannot see. That's our… we are very proud of this these days. We can break anything. We can make it or not is a questionable thing, but we can break anything we want. Even if we cannot see it, we can break it. Now, what you see and what you do not see itself is a very dicey thing in the sense, what is it that you can see? Right now, can you see my hand? Yes. You can see my hand only because my hand stops light. If my hand did not stop this light, if it allowed light to pass through, you wouldn't see this hand, yes? Or in other words, right now your visual apparatus can see only those things which stop light. Anything that allows light through, you cannot see it. You cannot see light itself, first of all. Can you see the light that is here? No. Only whatever stops light, you can see it. What does not stop light, you cannot see it. Very bad, isn't it? You must be able to see all those things which allow light to pass through, because they are important things. But right now your visual apparatus are trained to see or capable of seeing only that which stops light. So the whole process of seeing life the way it is means, first of all, evolving an eye, a thoughtless eye, an eye which is free of thought. When I say free of thought, it is free from the taint of memory. Right now, these two eyes are heavily loaded with memory. So you can see this. If you see a group of people like this, if you just casually look like this, among these hundreds of people, if there is one face that you're familiar with, you will see suddenly that face sticks out. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed this? You're going in a street, there are 100 people standing there. Your friend is among that. If you look here, just this friend's face is more clear than the rest of the faces, because this eye works with memory. The more memory you have, the better it sees. No memory, it cannot see. Memory means an accumulated past. Memory means information. Memory means that which does not exist but acts out as if it does. Memories are more real than reality, isn't it so? Yes, sir? See, I want you to understand, everything in your life is run by memory. Not just your computer stick. Everything in your life. When I say memory, not just what you carry here, your very body is a body of memory. Why, if you eat a banana, it becomes a masculine body, and if she eats a banana, it becomes a feminine body, is simply because of the memory that it contains, isn't it? The information that is stored in this body and that body is different. Same banana, it becomes a man, same banana, it becomes a woman. Yes or no? Huh? Are you eating different types of bananas? Same thing, same food if you eat, it is becoming one way. In one person it is becoming dark skin, in another person it's becoming fair skin. How? The memory that you carry. Do you remember your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather? You don't. But his nose is sitting on your face. Your body remembers, isn't it? You may not have no idea who it was, but your body remembers even today. 1,000,000 years ago, how your forefathers were, still it remembers, isn't it? So what you call as my body is just a body of memory. And eyes are loaded with memory. An eye which is loaded with memory, an eye which is corrupted with memory, cannot see anything the way it is. It will only see things as it is convenient because the software is working from inside. It will not allow you to see anything the way it is. This is what traditionally we are referring to as karma. It is there in your body, it is there in your energies, it is there in the way your chemical reactions happen, it is there in your brain, it is there in your mind, it is there in everything. In the very physical energy that you carry, there is memory because you will see each person's energies behave differently from the other simply because of the type of memory it carries. If you want to get rid of this, it's a long process. And if you get rid of this, dismantling of the personality and the body will happen. So another way is to create a distance from it. Just hold it little away. When you want to play with it, you play with it. When you want to switch it off, you must be able to switch it off. So for this, an external view is needed. Right now, your ears are loaded with memory, your eyes are loaded with memory, your tongue is loaded with memory. Why? If you are born in Karnataka, if you go to North India, food doesn't taste good, is because the tongue is loaded with memory. Yes or no? Have you suffered this or no? You went north and they said aloo bhaji, aloo aloo matar, aloo palak, aloo parota, aloo they said. You couldn't stay there because your tongue is loaded with memory. It wants the same things back, otherwise it will suffer. So what being loaded with memory means is a cocoon of the past is holding you. It will not allow you to even move into the present. A cocoon of the past holds you, and you allow it to do this because it feels safe. It creates a cocoon. There is safety, but in safety, there is also imprisonment. You're really safe if we lock you up in a safe, isn't it? But the problem is you can't get out. That's the whole problem. Walls that you build as self-protection, they also become the walls of self-imprisonment. That is the nature of life. If you lock yourself from inside or outside, it's the same thing. As long as you do not open the door, whether somebody locked you from outside or you locked yourself from inside, there is no difference. Anyway, you're imprisoned, isn't it? At least somebody locked you from outside, you can at least complain and scream. You locked yourself from inside, you can only be depressed. You cannot even scream. At whom will you scream? So this process of what we are looking at is the memory imprints itself on all levels, right up to the elemental level. From the 5 elements which function here, from just after that, memory's work starts. So when we utter the word karma, it is not one simple formula, or it's not, people are saying theory of karma. We are not talking about any theory. We are referring to a certain reality. Karma means memory. Action and memory. Past action exists only in the form of memory, isn't it so? Yes? Memory, not just what you carry here. Every cell in the body carries its own memory. Why one atom behaves differently from another atom, though the same ingredients is, it has a memory. A hydrogen atom has one kind of memory, oxygen atom has another kind of memory. Unless you mix them up, they will continue to behave like that. It is in a small circle, you are in a little larger circle, the universe is in a much larger circle, but the same memory rules all of it. So when we said karma, we are not talking about some concept or philosophy, we are referring to a certain reality which is finding manifestation as who you are. The very shape of your body is because of memory. If a bird eats a mango, it becomes a bird. If a worm eats a mango, it becomes a worm. If you eat a mango, you become a human being. Same mango, how many things it's doing, depending upon what kind of memory it carries. Isn't it? What you call as a seed, if you plant the same seed, if you plant a seed in the same soil, here you plant a mango tree, here you plant an apple tree in the same soil, this will only produce apples, this will only produce mangoes. I know there is a newspaper picture where a jackfruit is become bananas, that's different. Yes? You saw this? Are you all from Bangalore or Devanahalli? No, you didn't see this? A bunch of bananas are coming out of a jackfruit for some reason. That's a freak. And that's happened because of some mix-up. We don't know who did the mix-up. But essentially, if you… in the same soil, if you plant an apple seed and a mango seed, this will only produce apples, this will only produce mangoes, because seed is a certain amount of memory, isn't it? Whether it is a seed of a plant or your father's seed which entered your mother's womb, it is just memory and memory and memory, isn't it so? This is karma, and this goes right back, right up to the elemental level. Everything is memory. Only the pure element is free from memory. So the idea, when we're starting off Bhutesha, because that's the most important thing, that he mastered the elements, that's why we bow down to him, because he mastered the elements, he has an eye which has no memory, a taintless eye which sees everything just the way it is. So yoga essentially means developing an eye which is not contaminated by memory, which simply sees. It does not see things the way your memory perverts it. It simply sees everything the way it is. This eye will see those things which do not stop light. Right now, these two eyes can only see what stops light. If you start seeing something that does not stop light, that means another dimension of the eye is beginning to function.
The soul is sacred for people, the body is filthy. How is it possible? Yes? That's what we've been doing, isn't it so? Saying God is sacred, creation is filthy. How is it possible? The very thought of God occurred to you only because you saw creation, isn't it? When you were born and you opened your eyes, you looked around, so much creation. Before you came here, so much has happened. Obviously, you did not create it. So you thought, there must be a creator. This is how you come to the creator, isn't it? The moment you thought there must be a creator, because you're in a human form, you thought it must be a big man. A small man like me cannot do all this. It must be a big man. Just 2 hands, how can it do so much creation? Must be 8 hands. Isn't it? Isn't it so? If you were a buffalo, you would be really thinking, God is a huge buffalo. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You go and ask a buffalo and see. A buffalo will insist, God is a huge buffalo, maybe 4 horns. You know Idi Amin? You heard of Idi Amin? The Uganda man? Idi Amin declared, God is black. I agree with him. If a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? But both those people are confused. We know God is brown. Because he visited us, you know. Some time ago, I was talking to a group of people in Nashville in Tennessee, and I was telling them a joke. In the joke, I just referred to God as Him. Immediately a few ladies stood up. Do you believe God is a man? I knew where it's going. I said, see, I'm only telling you a joke. It doesn't matter. You said him, do you believe God is a man? They take the jokes very seriously. Now women are arguing, God could be a woman. Such problems exist only in those cultures. In India, we have man God, we have woman God, we have cow God, we have monkey God, we have everything. Every kind, crawling one, creeping one, flying one. Because we foresaw all the problems of the future. See, when man was the most powerful force on the planet, man was naturally God. Now women are also gaining in their power, so women are questioning, why can't it be a woman? So tomorrow suppose dogs gain lot of power which they're gaining, so dogs will ask, why not a dog god? Actually the spelling also is close, you know. He seemed to be closer than you, isn't it? So your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself, isn't it? Your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself. See, you're still not able to define yourself, isn't it? Whatever definition you put on yourself is not correct. Any kind of definition you put on you, it is not enough to describe this one. And this small piece of creation is like this, the source of creation. How are you going to put a definition on it? You cannot define it, you cannot understand it, you can only dissolve into it. You can experience it, you can never know it, you can't make knowledge out of it. Whatever knowledge you have about God is just pure nonsense, cultural nonsense. Depending upon which kind of culture you are in, that kind of God you have, isn't it? It can only be experienced. Experience does not mean you can eat it or you can grasp it. No, you can experience only by dissolving in it. There is no other way. So, we are just looking for methods of dissolution so that we can experience something far bigger than ourselves.
So what is Kundalini? Right now, I am speaking. This is Kundalini. You are alert and listening. If you are alert and listening, that is Kundalini. A flower is blossoming, that is Kundalini. A dog is barking, that is also Kundalini. Or in other words, the fundamental life force in the existence, we call it Kundalini. Now, within the system, within the human system, if you look at this as a kind of a life package, it's a piece of life. This piece of life is packed in a certain way with layers of this energy. One dimension of energy comes alive immediately because that is necessary for your survival process. The other dimensions of energy will not come alive unless you do something about it. Unless you're aware of it and activate it in a certain way, they do not come into existence. They remain dormant. The dormant energy is way bigger than the energy that is in use right now. To take care of your survival process, to live a physical life completely, to live a complete physical and intellectual life, you need to activate only about 21 of your chakras. Out of this 114, if about 21 of them are on, you will live a complete life. You will not feel any inadequacy. You will live a complete physical life. There'll be no problem with your life. You will think you're a great success, but you are only 21. That is less than 21% out of 114. Less than 20%. At less than 20%, you will feel like a complete life without any inadequacies. The remaining percentage of life, what is it about? It is not even needed if your intention is just to live well. If you activate this dimension of energy, other dimensions of life will open up. One thing is, are you ready for those dimensions? The question is not about whether it's good or bad. The question is just about, are you ready for it? Because even if the best things in life come to your life, when you are not ready for it, it will not be a good thing for you. In your experience, it will not be a good thing if something came to you when you're not ready for it, isn't it so? Even if it's the greatest thing, it may be the greatest thing, but it came to you when you are not ready for it, then it is not a good thing, isn't it? So are you ready for it, is the first question. If you're ready for it, what can we do for it? What can we do to activate? There are various ways of doing this, many ways, but the Kundalini Yoga, are people familiar with Kundalini Yoga, practicing or… okay. Kundalini Yoga, I'm not making a comment about anybody, okay? Kundalini Yoga in its essence is the most dangerous form of yoga. I'm saying dangerous because it's the most potent also. What is most potent is always the most dangerous, if improperly handled. There are various kinds of energy in the world right now. Even the electricity is being manufactured produced in so many different ways. One of the ways that we do it is through nuclear reactions, nuclear reactors rather. It is the most efficient way of producing energy that we know right now, but it is also the most dangerous way, isn't it? When things go wrong, they go seriously wrong. When they're going right, it is the easiest and the best way to produce energy on the planet is nuclear energy actually. But when it goes bad really bad, like in ways that you can't fix it. So similarly with Kundalini Yoga, it is the most potent and it is the most dangerous. Without the necessary preparation and guidance, without expert guidance, constant guidance and observation, nobody should ever attempt it. But the problem is, books have been written about it and everybody wants to do the highest yoga. Nobody wants to start with A, everybody wants to start the alphabet with Z. This attitude itself is dangerous. What can be a life-transforming force can become a life-destructive force simply because without the necessary commitment and dedication and focus and understanding, it is being handled. Anyway, about rising the Kundalini. If the Kundalini rises, the dimensions of your life will change so rapidly that you must be willing to make the outside adjustments equally quick. Otherwise, things will fall apart in a big way. In the classical yogic traditions, there is a certain type of yoga we teach for people who live in family situations. There is a certain other type of yoga we teach for ascetics. In Isha we have both the forms. We have ascetic yoga and we have the general yoga. We will never teach you the ascetic form, that is the most potent way to do it. But it will demand a certain dimension of discipline and focus which your regular lives will not allow. If you do that kind of yoga, it will dismantle your outside life instantly. Now this yoga is not designed to dismantle your life, this yoga is designed to make your life happen better. When life happens better, when things happen better, you make more money, your business is going better, your profession is happening better, you are generally, unfortunately, your longing to seek the higher becomes slower. Yes? So in the real sense, it is not the good way to do it, but it's the only way it works in today's world. And it's the only way it works for majority of the people. For a small number of people, we can do it other ways. We can bypass all these things and just do very powerful ways of doing things, but it will dismantle all social structures around them, which is not good for everybody to do. So these are different dimensions. Kundalini Yoga, if it has to be practiced, you must be in a certain kind of atmosphere. You cannot live in social situations and do Kundalini Yoga. Otherwise, in the name of Kundalini Yoga, you're doing something simplistic. Otherwise, Kundalini Yoga can transform the way you are within days. Suddenly you find you are a stranger in your own home within 2 days of practice, because it will change everything about you. So can we raise the Kundalini? Yes, we can. One way is to create a conducive atmosphere so that slowly it rises. The other way is to provoke it in such a way that it raises quickly. If it rises quickly, then everything changes dramatically. If it rises slowly over a period of time, changes will happen slowly, you will be capable of handling these changes over a period of time. But if it happens very quick, then you will not be able to handle the changes. Things will look like things are falling apart. So there are different ways of doing this. How many ways? There are too many ways. I will not go into how many ways. There are so many ways of doing it. Essentially, there are 112 ways of doing it. There are 112 ways in which you can take this up. From the base to… for this you have to know the structure, otherwise it'll become very elaborate. Out of these 114 chakras, there are 7 which we recognize as 7 dimensions. Out of this, 6 are within the body, 1 just outside the physical body. So if you employ these 112 methods, you will handle the 6th chakras. The 7th one you cannot handle. There are 112 ways in which you can attain to a chakra which we refer to as Agna. But from Agna to Sahasrara, there is no way. There is no way to do it. You just have to jump into an abyss. If you have to jump into an abyss, you should be insane, or you should have enormous trust in somebody. Somebody says jump, and you are jumping because you have such a deep trust in somebody that when he says jump, it has to be good for you. You simply jump into a bottomless pit. So, the journey from the Mooladhara to Agna, there are 112 ways to get there. But from there to there is no way. It is just one jump that can happen in trust, in devotion or in madness. Choice is yours. When will you learn how to handle my thought, how to handle my emotion? We will give you tools, how to figure this machine out. Whatever the issue, we'll do our best. But this should not be the issue.
In life, there are many phases where we feel that we are depressed, we are lonely, and when everybody is against us and there is no one to, guide us or talk about it. So at that moment, how should we handle it or how should we deal with it?
See, this is an unfortunate condition that a whole lot of human beings are in their experience. In their personal experience, life is like me versus the universe. Being in competition with the universe is a stupid thing to do. That's not a competition you must get into. Hello? Me versus the universe is a bad competition to get into. You also agree? So, this is why yoga. Yoga does not mean twisting and turning your body. The word yoga means union. Right now it's me versus the universe. This is just your psychological condition. This is not the reality. Even when you feel utterly lonely, are you still breathing? So you're transacting with the world, isn't it? Yes? You only can't get along with the people around you, but atmosphere is okay with you, food is okay if it tastes good, water is okay. You have transaction with the world, isn't it? Your existence is constantly an engagement with the universe, but your mind becomes against the universe. If you create a psychological condition that you're against or you're in competition with the universe or the cosmos, obviously you will feel crushed for small things. Little things will crush you. When I say little things, maybe you failed your examination, maybe you got thrown out of this university, maybe you got fired from a job, maybe somebody ditched you, maybe something else like this happened. These are all small things between life and death, because you came here with nothing, isn't it? When you die, there is no container service for you. You die with nothing. In spite of that, most people have turned their homes into warehouses. Most people are carrying such a huge baggage on their head, as if they're carrying the whole universe on their head. This is their own psychological condition. Your thought and emotion is what you're talking about, right? When are you going to figure out how to handle your thought and emotion? Not hers, not hers, not his, yours. When are you going to learn how to handle my thought and my emotion? At the end of your life? The only problem really with life is just this. Most human beings have taken themselves too seriously. They don't understand. You've seen on the computer screen these pop-ups? You are a pop-up on this planet. You pop up for 2 seconds and pop out. No, you must see, countless number of people like you and me have walked this planet. They were also big people. Where are they? All topsoil? Topsoil or no? Unless your friends decide to bury you real deep, fearing that you may rise from the dead. You know, there have been such instances. Or maybe you're planning to go to heaven. Hello? Anybody who talks about a place other than this place as a better place than this is a crime against humanity. My fundamental work is to destroy all heavens so that people will learn to live well here. All these idiots who made a hell out of themselves, they want to go to heaven. They made a mess out of this place and then they want to go to heaven. I am asking you, do you have any proof? Do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and messing it up? Do you have any proof? You're already in heaven, making a mess out of it. Yes, simply because you are not even learning how to handle your basic faculties of thought and emotion, isn't it? Your only justification is, everybody is like this only, that's how it is in a madhouse. That is how it is in a madhouse, only a doctor looks crazy. So when are you going to handle it? Slowly, at the age of 60? I'm asking. When will you learn how to handle my thought, how to handle my emotion, how to handle my body, how to handle my chemistry? When are you going to figure this? At the end of your life? Because this culture has grown. When to do spirituality means when you're 70, when you're no good for anything else. No, at the earliest possible time, whatever is most profound about you, not about heavens, about this life, everything that you need to know, you must know soonest, isn't it? Only then you live a sensible life. Okay, if I tell you a joke, you won't get offended. Because this is the most serious crowd I've ever seen in the last few years. How many of them are journalism? Most of them? Okay. This happened. Shankaran Pillai, when he was in Paris, was married to a French woman. One day, it was their anniversary, first anniversary. So she invited a bunch of friends and she wanted to cook something really fresh, everything fresh. So from morning she was driving him to this market, that market, he got this fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh chicken, this, that, everything. Then in the evening she said, because the French have this, snail appetizer, she said, go to the beach and get some snails, fresh. And I will make some appetizer for all the friends who are coming. So Shankaran Pillai went to the beach and he was picking up all the snails and putting it in a bucket. Then he met an old friend, an Indian guy. They hit it off and they were talking about their old times. He just forgot that he's married. You know, when you meet old friends, it happens. And both of them went to a bar and they had a few drinks and he just forgot. Then he realized, when these snails were just climbing out and one snail fell out of the bucket, he realized, oh my God, I'm supposed to take these snails, my wife, French wife, she's waiting. So he said, I need to go, and he went. By then it was already very late. He went, he knew it's not going to be pleasant. So he came near the house and spilled all the snails on the ground, threw away the bucket and went and knocked on the door. The French fury came. He turned back and said, come on you guys, we're almost there, come on, let's go. So, When are you going to pick your snails and put them in the bucket and fix them? Huh? Your problems, you must fix them, isn't it? These are not problems. I want you to understand, you are not suffering your life. You're only suffering two fantastic faculties that only… It's a privilege of being human that we have these two fantastic faculties. One is, we have a vivid sense of memory. This is because of this memory our life is so rich, unlike any other creature. And we have a fantastic sense of imagination. Now, this is what you're suffering. What happened 10 years ago, you can still suffer. Why? Are you suffering life or memory? Hello? Memory. What may happen day after tomorrow, you're already suffering. Are you suffering life or imagination? Two most fantastic faculties you have, you're suffering. So what are you asking for? You want to become once again an earthworm. An earthworm is a very eco-friendly creature, I have nothing against it. But it took millions of years of evolution to get you this size of brain, and now you're suffering it. If we take away half your brain, of course you will sit there without any anxiety, without any suffering, peacefully. What we need is, we need to remove your brain, because you're suffering your own intelligence. Yes or no? Because we gave you a very complex machine, you have not bothered to read even the user's manual. You want to just blunder around. No, young people, it's time you figure out a few things about you. If you don't know how, we will give you tools, how to figure this machine out, because in your life, many issues will come. More issues come up in your life means you're living a more active life. Nothing came up means you're not living. Yes, lots of issues every day. I have the maximum number of trouble going on in my life on a daily basis, because so much of activity around the world, global level of activity only with volunteers, okay? Volunteers means nobody is qualified for the job and you can't fire them for inefficiency, and they love you. What to do? This one thing you must fix, that is, in your life, you are not the issue. Okay? Whatever the issue, we'll do our best, but this should not be the issue. Wife and two children, stress, strain and torture, how's that? I don't want you to travel in the path of yoga. Whatever goddamn path you're traveling on, take yoga with you. It will make the path easy and beautiful. Whether you go north or south, if it is dark, you take a torch, isn't it? Only northward people take torch, southern people take darkness with you. Is there such a thing? No. So, you getting married is because of your needs. You were not born with your wife, were you? You were born like this, a complete human being. Because you have certain needs, physical, psychological, emotional, maybe financial, social, that also is there, right? So, various needs. Marriage is generally supposed to be a package which deals with all these needs. Physical needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, social needs, sometimes financial needs also. So it is a comprehensive package that if you get married, all these problems are solved in one shot. Sometimes they may refuse to fulfill some of your needs. So you get stressed, strained and tortured. I want you to understand, you married for your well-being, not as some sacrifice for somebody's sake. You married for your needs and your well-being, isn't it? You better remember that all your life. You married and tied up the other person with you because you have needs. You did not do it for the other person's sake. Yes or no? Let's be straight about it. Yes or no? Yes. You remember this? If you remember this, you live in little gratitude, okay? You, if not all the five pancha and the five needs, at least two you fulfill for me, thank you very much. Isn't it? All the five perfectly, maybe they did not fulfill. At least two or three they fulfilled, right? Your husband or your wife? Did they, didn't they? If they did not fulfill anything, I don't think you would be there by now. Yes or no? If they did not fulfill any of your needs, I do not think you would still be there. They are fulfilling some needs, a few things maybe they are not able to fulfill. So are you. You are also not able to fulfill every one of the needs of the other person. Some you're fulfilling, some you're not, isn't it so? So, why did this become stress, strain and torture? Whichever way you have made it, till now, it doesn't matter. If you're willing, in 3 days' time, it doesn't matter how bad your situation is, in 3 days' time, you can bring it to a semblance of peace. If not love, if not ecstasy, at least you can bring it to a peaceful state in 3 days' time if you are willing, 100%. Yes or no? At least you can shut up. Simply, whatever happens, peace will happen. And maybe they will love it. So, don't walk the path of yoga, whatever the path, you must carry yoga with you. If you carry yoga with you, it'll light up your path, whatever path you have chosen. You have chosen your path out of your needs. You already done it, so that's up to you. Those who have not done it, I would like you to choose your path not out of your compulsive needs, but of your conscious needs. So, when that stage in your life comes, it is time to consciously look at your life and see, will today's needs mean something to you after 5 years or 10 years? Will it be worthwhile to tie up your life for the simple needs that you have today, or are these just passing needs for you? It's a very strong need, you must marry. If it is not a strong need, it's a passing need. You can work out your needs probably by just going to a cinema, then no need to get married, Yes, many people are like this, their needs are not very strong, it's just passing. But social structure tells them you have to. Not necessary. It must be a conscious choice. Whichever way you go, it must be your conscious choice, not compulsive choices. Because if you choose compulsively, you will always take it out on the people around you. Because you feel like a slave and you don't like it, so you take it out on them and they will take it out on you. So, it is not about what you're doing, it is about how you do it. What you're doing is according to our requirements, but how you do it will determine the nature of your life. Is it an advantage to walk single rather than walk with people? Yes, if you want to walk rapidly. In Africa there is a saying, they say, if you want to walk quick, walk alone. If you want to walk long, walk in company. If you're making a long distance journey, it's better to have company. If you are walking a short distance and very quick you want to walk, it's best to go alone, isn't it? Gautama said another thing. When somebody asked him the same question, he said, "It is better to walk alone than to walk with a fool." Because by looking at you, he is very clear, who else will marry you? So that is Gautama's way of working. So he said, he's always discouraging people to take company. He said, this life is a brief walk, why do you need company? When you leave this body, it's a long place, there I will be there. This is the offer. But you think life is long. So maybe you need company. If you need company, you take it. But how you conduct this company is very important. If you want to conduct this sensibly, one of the most important things that you need to do, particularly with your children, you must do this, is your psychological and your emotional framework should be around the basic fact of life. The basic fact of life is that you are mortal. Your psychological and emotional structure should be formed around your mortality. This is most important. If you're constantly aware that this is a brief life, any moment you'll fall dead actually, then you would organize your life and conduct your life in a certain way. When you know time is ticking away, any moment you'll be knocked down, you have no time to get angry with somebody, isn't it? You have no time to fight with somebody here. You have no time to sit there depressed for a long period of time because tick, 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 it's going away. Because your psychological structure is organized around your immortality, because of that, you have lot of time to fight, to be depressed, to be frustrated, to fret, to fume. You have lot of time. So it's very, very important that everybody organizes their psychological and emotional structure around the mortal nature of our existence. After all, you are just a baton carrier between the last generation and the next generation, isn't it? Yes? For a brief time it's in your hands, this world. Afterwards, somebody else is going to take it. You will see
flickering lights again, whispers in the rain. Stars begin
taking the baton from the previous generation happens in most ugly ways. Handing over the baton to the next generation happens in horrible ways, simply because people's mind is structured around their belief of immortality. They don't see their mortal. If you're constantly aware that you're mortal, sense will naturally dawn upon you. You will have no time for foolishness. Suppose you're aware that tomorrow you're going to die, would you spend today fighting with somebody? Because your time is ticking, isn't it? And your time is ticking even now. Not after a doctor diagnoses you with some horrible disease. Even now it's ticking, isn't it so? If you want to explore the possibility of what this is, the immensity of what this is, then the time is ticking too rapidly. And time is an extremely relative experience. If you're joyful and blissful, even if you live to be 100, it's a very brief life. It's gone in no time. So, in this brief life, where do you get time for stress, strain and torture? I don't know. Where you get time? This is simply because you think you're immortal. This is the biggest mistake you have done. It is just a brief journey. You must conduct it as gracefully, as blissfully as possible. If you do not know the cosmos, at least you must know this piece of life before you fall dead. That must happen to everybody.
Your opinion is important to us. Comment below, subscribe for more enriching content, and help us spread these positive messages by sharing this video.